Hello, patrons! So, today I thought I'd work on something specifically for you guys. I'm going to make some little Patreon-specific bookmarks. I've got this really thin cherry wood that has been hanging around forever. And I thought I'll just make some wooden bookmarks out of that. So, in Photoshop, I composed myself a sheet of Dr. Hadrian, I'll Make a New Man of You bookmarks for the cast iron carousel. And I composed it all in reverse, took it to the print shop, had them printed out, and I'm going to do a color image transfer onto wood. So I thought that'd be a good video. And after researching a bunch of materials, I think this is what I'll use. This is the Minwax polyacrylic. Essentially, I just paint it onto the wood, squeegee my image on there, let it dry, then use water and a toothbrush to remove all the paper, and all that's left is going to be the toner and the wood. So should turn out good, I hope, and then I'll send it to you. Okay, so this actually turned out to be one of the thicker pieces that I had in here. I found some much nicer, thinner pieces that I had in my scrap bucket. So I'm going to pick the nicest grain I can and the thinnest material, and I'm going to do that. First thing, I'll just take one of these sheets and cut out, looks like I can probably get 4 bookmarks on a single sheet of this cherry. Cut this out. Probably shouldn't have rolled these up. I don't have to worry that much as long as I'm cutting on white, because none of the white will stay in the final piece. At least that's the theory, is that only the toner will remain once I've washed away all the excess. So I'm gonna cut away most of what I don't need. Perfect. Looks like I can get those perfectly on there. I'll use this. I have used this stuff for lots and lots of projects. I think this was about 35 bucks a gallon or something like that. It was pretty expensive at the time. I've now had it for years and have done hundreds of masks. Just so many projects with it. I'm down to hardly any left, but I have to say, I think this might have been one of the best $35 I've ever spent on material. I've just used this for everything. Okay, so first off, got a nice soft brush. I really like these. These are also inexpensive. I think they come 3 in a pack for $5 at a craft store. Real nice soft nylon bristles, and I use these whenever I'm working with this material. Just paint that on so it's pretty wet but even. Put that on there solidly, and before it has any chance to dry, I'm going to stick that on. And just use a credit card to kind of squeegee it on, make it stick down. Looks like didn't get perfect on here. Let's get just a little bit more. Get all the bubbles and everything out from under. Of course, it starts warping immediately. I think that'll be fine. Looks like it's good and stuck. And I'll just let that dry, come back to this in about an hour, and try and wash off all of the excess paper with some moisture and a toothbrush. Of course, before I do anything else, clean up on aisle 3. Seriously, you guys have no idea how much I hate having slop on things. Nothing worse than putting your hand down into something wet that you can't identify. Okay, let's see how this turned out. It's been about an hour. This is pretty dry. I've got some pretty warm water and a toothbrush here. So I'm just going to try wetting down the photocopy paper and scrubbing it away. Looks like it's working pretty well. And in theory, this will leave only the toner, which is stuck directly to the paper. You can already see it kind of coming through. Uh-oh, some of the toner came up there. I'll be more gentle. Drat. Looks like I didn't get quite enough adhesion in certain places. Maybe I haven't let this dry long enough. I can always try it again. Okay, so there it is. What did I learn from this first experiment? Well, the first thing you can see is that there are actually the saw marks in the wood. So I could have stood to sand this a bit more before attaching my reverse transfer. The second thing is maybe I should have let it dry for a little bit longer. Looks like it's wasn't fully set in some places, maybe in the deeper parts of the wood, and so it released. So all in all, this looks all right. I mean, it obviously didn't come out the way I wanted, but I can see the potential of the transfer, so I'm going to work harder on the next one. Okay, let's try take 2. I have redone my bookmarks, and this time I've let it dry for quite a bit longer. I expect that if I have failed to make sure that it is perfectly set this time, then I don't know what the solution is, because the surface has been sanded and I've made a real effort to be super consistent applying the polyacrylic. So now I'm just going to wet it down, and I'm going to try and be gentle, because maybe I wasn't gentle enough last time. And, you know, it's always possible that this just isn't the right application for this process. And, you know, it's a good experiment, but maybe I won't be able to send this to my patrons because it just doesn't work, possibly. Hopefully it does, though. I'm excited by this. So I'm just going to let the paper really soak up a lot of water before I start moving that water around or trying to scrape off the paper, trying to brush off the paper. I can see that the reverse image is starting to really show through, so maybe I'm doing the right thing. We shall see. Don't want to remove it too fast, at least that's my suspicion. If this works, you guys, this is great, because this is such a cool process. If it doesn't work, I don't know, I guess I'll find somebody to print it directly on, but I'd be disappointed. I like to be able to make things myself and send them to my patrons. That's sort of ideal for me. didn't come out perfect, not quite where I wanted. It definitely lost some details, so maybe this is good for the distressed look. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna cover it with more polyacrylic and try and make it look as nice as I can, as intentional as I can. And then I'll cut these apart, punch out these little holes, add a string to them, and send these bookmarks out. See how this turned out. Alright, that's all dry. Warped as all heck, but I guess them's the breaks. Dust and everything. Nose up. See how these go. Boy, some of this just did not stay. These turned out pretty good. I think there's a lot of detail here, but a lot of details lost too. Essentially, I think I got 3 out of 4 that are savable, and then this one is just, that one's too runchy. Can't even read the text. I'll make a new man of you. So these 3 will be the bookmarks that patrons will get in the mail. I'm just going to punch a little hole and run a piece of thread through there, and they're done. Looks like I don't have anything great to run through here. So I'm just going to use this chenille, which I've used for dreadlocks on an African dancer puppet in the past. I just don't have a ton of things in the studio right now that will really be perfect. I wish I did cross stitch, then I'd have some floss for it. I don't know, I guess it's okay. You guys can let me know what you think. I wish I had it in red. That would be perfect. Well, there they are. I just want to thank my patrons for helping me out, giving me the ability to keep doing stuff like this, experimenting. It doesn't always work, but hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Maybe you've learned something. Maybe you found some way around this and you have some suggestions that can make them better. Anyway, look forward to talking to you.